Today's video has been a while in the making. I have actually had this product on hand for a handful of weeks now, and I've just been working through so many different projects for you guys and so much other stuff, and also trying to work and live my life and other things, and I just haven't gotten to it. But today I want to get to it now. This video, if you haven't gathered it by the title and the thumbnail, is a hop-up unit for the KWA F90 that is designed to work with gas blowback buckings and gas blowback barrels. For some reason, this phenomenal replica, which has two major flaws. The first one is the feed lips bust on the mags all the time, and the second one, the only one, is that KWA designed it with a stupid proprietary hop-up that you can't get or use any aftermarket buckings and barrels for. The hop-up unit itself and the rubber and stuff isn't awful per se, but the main problem that we have here is at some point, inevitably, you'll have to replace the bucking. It's just going to have to be done because buckings wear in, buckings get worn out, and it's also not the best of buckings, so hopefully this changes it. And again, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of flaws here. This is a working prototype. We are just going to be testing this out myself alongside a couple others. The company is known as FIREARMS. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to link it in the description yet, but I will if I can. Great guy, working on a lot of really cool products to come. So yeah, this could be a little less of a scenic video like all of my other ones, and I think it's about time we do another tech video. So if it's early in the morning where you are, grab a cup of coffee, sit down, relax, watch me tech, and if it's 1 o'clock in the morning where you're from, like it is when I'm filming this, tuck yourself under the covers, relax for a second. First, let's take down the F90. Actually, let's build the hop-up unit first. I think that would be the best option. And then I want to take a thumbnail with it, obviously, as well. So this is my first time actually opening this package. I took it out of the box, took it out of the package, I looked at it. I've been paying attention to some of the responses from some of the other people who were involved in this testing project as well. And let's see what we have to work with. So it looks like this is, I don't know if this is cast or if this is machined. I'm assuming it's made of aluminum. So there's a combination of aluminum and printing. Let's see. Get our little magnet out. Yeah, so it's aluminum for sure. And it's also got this printed feed ramp. And of course your rotary tool. Oh, I see how that works. Okay. And then we have a spare feed ramp. And this runs on AEG hop-up nubs, which the creator was kind enough to print for me so I didn't have to spend $20 on one. For this project as well, we will be using a Maple Leaf gas blowback inner barrel. This is shorter than the stock inner barrel, I believe, and the reason being is because I do intend to shorten it down the road, and I also want a slightly lower FPS so I can run this indoor if I choose to, because the KWA F90 runs pretty hot. And then we'll be using a Modify X-Range bucking, which I've heard a lot about so far, and I'm really excited to get that tested out. So let's first pop these guys apart. We're definitely going to have to install the bucking onto the barrel. Pop the barrel on out. This isn't my first time using this barrel. I actually had it installed in something else a little while ago. It was very short-lived. Dang, look at the inside of that X-Range bucking. Super high-tech. Cool. Let's get the bucking on. The correct orientation. Like that. There's a snug fit around the Maple Leaf inner. Perfect. Okay. Now, we are going to have to take this apart in order to install it. So it looks like we have the two set screws on the outsides for the barrel. And then it looks like this screw holds in the feed ramp. And is there another screw of some sort? is that a pin on the side? Let's go ahead and start taking these apart. They're little grub screws. Super small. Find an Allen key that fits. Looks like that one does. And let's bring this tray over so we don't lose anything. That should be enough. We shouldn't have to pull that out any further. I don't think we have to remove this screw at all. Unless... yeah, I don't think we're going to have to remove this screw at all. But to get to these two set screws, we are going to have to twist this guy and pull it off. And just be careful. I heard that this bar is easily bendable, and it looks like an O-ring is also slipping off slightly too. So just be careful. That O-ring might be a little too large for the spot that it's in. All right. It's already pre-lubricated, which is nice to see. And these look like they are flathead screwdrivers, very small. These are super small pieces. Unbelievably small. I think that'll work though. I almost wish these were a little larger. The screw heads and stuff. I actually have yet to take apart the F90's stock hop-up unit yet, so I'm not 100% sure if there's much of a difference. That hop-up unit could just have these same super small pieces. Okay, so I got those unscrewed. I think they are unbelievably small, like almost way too small. You can get like no screwdriver, no flathead's gonna fit in there. I don't even know if one from like a pair of glasses is gonna fit in there, so I 100% recommend switching those out to a larger grub screw. Just make it bigger. Just make it thicker, like a fat little chubby grub screw. That is definitely something that I think we should change. So next we have to try and get this guy out to remove the feed ramp. I believe it's just a pin. I really hope it's just a pin. Otherwise this is a tad on the overkill side. I hope my punch is thin enough to get in there as well. We will be going from this side. Hopefully. Let's find a little indent on the desk. Pretty much out now, that pin. And I think we should be able to remove the feed ramp. If not, we got to be getting pretty close to the point where we can. It's in there a little bit, just a little bit. Can't seem to get it out all the way. Not sure why it's so stuck. There we go. Bang. Now that should allow me to pull this guy out, I believe. It's definitely snug in there, that's for sure. Let's not break anything. Very nice tight fit, actually. And there's your little feed ramp. Cool. All right, so as we remember, it came out like this. And to install the barrel, it's gonna have to sit like that. I don't know if you see that. Pretty snug fit. And then we'll just get it back into the, of course, those two screws got to come back a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, and with it orientated like this, we should just be able to put the entire unit or the entire barrel back inside the unit like that. And then just to make life a little bit easier, I think I'm going to lubricate the outside of... That was a lot. I did not mean to take that much. But I'm going to lubricate the outside of the bucking and the outside of the feed ramp just a little bit. And that should make it a little easier to slide it in place and out of place. Kind of tough to get into place. Trying not to cause the bucking to fall out of place. Doesn't look like it's crunched or smushed in there, does it? No. Okay. Now we should just be able to drop this pin back in. And we want to tighten down on the barrel too. I've been tightening it like this because I actually literally don't have a screwdriver that is tight enough to get this guy to tighten down on the barrel. I think these are a super huge flaw. We really have to bring those to a grub screw or just a larger screw in general. Next, we're going to lightly tap in that pin. Hopefully it goes back in nice and easily. Try and go the reverse way. All right, it's going in. Cool. Pin is back in. And then I was reading from some of the other testers that screwing this screw in, it will help hold this guy in place, but you have to be super careful because it could just rip straight through the bucking. So be very careful with that. I'm going to get a smaller screw driver and we'll screw that in just until it's flush. We don't want to put in any pressure. Cool. All right. And we are in business. Everything is pretty stable. I know I can't get these screws 100% tight, and that does upset me. I wish I could make them tighter. Again, I can't. But the design, I get the design. I think we need larger screws. Now we should just be able to toss this guy back on, seat it into that screw point. It's a little tough. You just gotta be careful because it looks like when you do go to push this in, it does create a lot of like wedge friction on those top arms. It's not the easiest thing to get in place. Oh, see, that's going to be a problem. Those screws are blocking it from going all the way down. Okay, so my solution to the problem with those screws being ever so slightly too long is to take the side that doesn't have that flathead, in case I ever do acquire one that has a flathead strong enough. We're going to hold it, and we're going to file the edge down just a bit. And we'll see if that makes it a little bit easier to go ahead and get that piece installed. All right, let's see if I filed that down enough and we can get this guy on or not. Does look like it goes in. And we do have twisting motion, so that's really cool. Now let's pull this back out carefully. And let's get the little hop nub installed. Oops. Should be two of them in here. I believe they're both the same. Yeah, there's that little hop nub. That little hop nub should just be a drop-in fit. Right about there. Little tight.
Might have to file that down too. That's okay. That shouldn't be very long. I think it's just a little bit too wide, so I'm just gonna grab, where'd the file go? There it is. Duh. Just gonna file it on the one side. And that should honestly probably be enough. Get it to sit flat. Cool. Looks like it. We might have to get a little tool to press that down. So go ahead and apply pressure downwards to it. Bingo. As long as that slides on in smooth. Again, apply a little more pressure to that. Just so we can get the hop arm in. Cool. And once it's in, we should have motion. It's not the smoothest motion in the world, but we have motion of the hop dial, which is good. Okay, and it looks like obviously what's keeping it in tension is that warping of the little arm against the screw. I think if there was some way to get, I don't really know if you could, but if there's some way to get like a spring and a bearing in there, that would be a really cool idea. But that right there is your upgraded gas blowback spec KWA F90 hop-up unit. Let's clear up the table. I want to take a thumbnail and then we'll try and get it installed. So with the F90 out on the table and our upgraded prototype Buckingham barrel, we're going to go ahead and start to take apart the F90 now. Super easy takedown. We're just going to punch this pin all the way. Actually, hold on. Let me charge it first. Push this guy all the way through. The entire front end should happily slide off the front. Usually that comes out with it. Why did that not come out with it? That's super funky. Oh, because the pin's stuck. Wow, it looks like my first time taking that guy apart. Okay, so we have our blowback unit, which we want to take a look at in a second. And what we need to do is remove this hop-up unit, which should be as simple as this screw. I don't know if there's a second screw we have to remove. We're going to first start off with that screw, though. And let's unscrew that and see if that's enough to keep that little washer on there. See if that's enough to remove our... All right. And here comes our barrel and stock hop unit, which are very reminiscent of the upgraded hop unit, obviously, as it should be. I do wish that in some ways we kept the design of the clicking function. You see how this little plastic ramp rides along the teeth? I think that would have been super cool idea to keep, for sure. All very similar. I wonder why the rear of this one is ribbed and this one isn't. If I recall, hold on. Yeah, the nozzle's ribbed on the... It needs to be lubricated. On the stock, or on the blowback unit. So when this guy goes in, it lines up perfectly. It's a nice air seal. How's that fare with this one? There's a little bit. All right, it still kind of seals. I don't know. I think I would have opted for the same patterning. I would have tried to go as close as I possibly could with this. Also, Yeah, I don't know. The rotary system I'm not a big fan of. I actually think the rotary system of the stock hop unit is a super cool idea. If there was some way for us to do that on this hop unit, that would be awesome. Even if this one, like the rotary system, was made in plastic, like this front housing was made in plastic, so that you were able to have that little malleable piece. Interesting. Another thing to note, so here's where that little screw goes in to lock it into the barrel that we took out, or into the upper that we took out. I have no idea how this one will lock in. I'm not entirely sure. I guess it just sits in that groove and allows you to apply pressure to it. Okay. Let's see how it installs, and hopefully we don't have to make any modifications. So it slides right in. Same orientation we pulled it out of. It's definitely a snug fit. We're getting stuck somewhere. Okay, so we are getting stuck somewhere, but the question is where? Go figure. It's this screw. This screw is what we're getting stuck on. Which I don't particularly know. Do we need that screw? I get that it's there to hold the little arm in. But like, as long as that arm's not prying upwards, then I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of that screw is. Because we should still have rotary capabilities. We do. It's definitely slowly grinding away at the inside wall of that screw insert. It's still not want to go in. Now it wants to go in. It wants to go in, no problems. But look at how little room that you have. There's like no space for that. What are we getting stuck on now? Are we in?
Oh, I see. Okay, so you don't put this screw in. Because if you can see in there, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but it looks like that dial is in the way. You're just going to screw into the dial. I think we screw this little screw back in place to hold it in. That's why it wouldn't fit, because we have to install it afterwards. That's an interesting concept. And that should go in. Obviously don't strip it or you're never getting that out. And that'll hold the hop unit in place. And then, can we still move the dial? You can move the dial. That's cool. Can I move it with my fingernail? I don't really have any fingernails. No, you can't really move it. I think what would be a good idea is if it wasn't like a rectangle with like a wall on the right side. If the rectangle just protruded outwards and it allowed these like edges out here so that you can grip it a little bit easier, because it's hard to get in there and move the dial. If the edges came a little bit further that way, you'd have something to grip on, some more ribs. Okay, let's install it back into the F90 carefully. And then obviously we'll go test fire it. I want to see how's the air seal when it's inside of here. Well, that's not bad. That still holds the nozzle really nicely. I don't know. Hopefully the not having those ribs that we showed before doesn't cause damage to the hop unit or the nozzle. I don't think it should, but if it did, that would stink. Now just to make sure everything sits in the body nice and smooth. Seems to. Can we see the
Yeah, it still sticks. You see that nozzle? No, does it? Oh, it does. Maybe it doesn't stick as much as I thought. All right, let's take it out on the field, shall we? My favorite part, as always, we're outside with the F90 and the brand new hop unit installed. We are going to be running some sponsored 0.3 gram BBs from Jordan at YMS Airsoft. Thank you, Jordan, for always making things possible. And then just for the record, obviously it's important to say so, we're using just standard propane, and it's around 65 degrees, rainy and super windy, so not the best conditions. There's absolutely no chance the hop unit is set to where we need it, but obviously in order to see what we have to do, there's only one thing that we can do, and that's fire it off. Let's get our sight up and on. We'll rock just the dot for now. And I guess we'll put through our first shots. Please, please don't obliterate my F90. What? The hop's pretty engaged, actually. That's almost perfect. I guess I had the dial set good? Okay, hold on. Okay, but my dot sight is not set. We're gonna have to bring the dot sight. Let's adjust the dot. Okay, we should be set and ready to go now. And we're curving to the left a little bit. All right. It's a little inconsistent, but it's not bad. We're working around like, I'd say 35, 40 feet now. Maybe, no, definitely a little more, like 45 feet, I think. And there we go, he locked back. Let's load it again. Okay, so we're going back in. I actually engaged the hop a little bit more, so hopefully we're not dropping to the bottom left so much. There we go. Get a little bit of consistency. Still wants to pull left a little bit. It's not bad. A little refining, I think that would kick butt. So before we share our final thoughts, we'll just bump it on some full auto. It's not bad. You can kind of see a little like occasional spray of a BB, but all in all, it functioned just fine. Just fine, and you can see it all right in there. Doesn't look like there's any uneven wear, anything going wrong. It's totally centered on the feed lips. Bravo. Bravo. The time has come. We're finally on the road to getting a better and non-proprietary hop unit for the KWA F90, which will suddenly make this thing not like just one of my favorite in my collection, but one of the best in my collection. I'm super excited. There are a couple things that I think we should change, and a couple rifles that I do have. Obviously, it's a working prototype, so there's going to be some. The first one is those screws on the side that hold the barrel in. Those should definitely be larger. It doesn't necessarily not have to be a flathead, but they should be a little bit larger. They're kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. I definitely think maybe we should go grub screw. If we're going to stick to the flathead, just again, make it thicker. It could totally be thicker. It doesn't have to be as small as it is. Now, as for the actual dial, I think one of the big issues is obviously having this screw here. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes sense. But it's hard to access the dial by fingertip. So maybe just either coming a little bit further this way with it, or getting rid of that original wall that's closest to the screw and allowing those teeth to protrude all the way to the end will make it a little easier to access with your fingers, because obviously the original hop dial comes out a little bit further and it's a little bit easier to access. Now also, if you remember, originally when we had been assembling it, there was that top-down center screw that has the ability to screw straight down through the hop rubber on accident if you tighten it too much. I think that should be refined as well, because if you're not informed about that initially, or you're just someone who's going to go ahead ahead and install it yourself. It could be super dangerous, and you're going to wind up, I'm sure, I am positive somebody at some point, if they purchase these, are going to wind up ripping apart that hop rubber. And finally, the inevitable engagement system. I don't like the engagement system on how the hop unit stays in tension. I think that arm being slightly bent and it pushing a lot of pressure up against that wall, or the, I guess, mound that the screws into, it's just not the best design. I think some sort of a small little input, like insert, where we can stick a spring and a little bearing or a little nub to get like a clicking function would be huge, or even trying to replicate something from the original hop unit that we saw when we first disassembled it. All in all, I'm extremely impressed, and I'm super excited to be a part of this project. I would definitely assume that this is not going to be all you're going to see of this. There will probably be more videos to come with the F90 and its upgraded hop unit, so stay tuned. I'll continue to update you guys, but for now, I'll see you on the next adventure.